Okay, hello, good morning everyone, excuse me. Okay, so look at this. I've just been passed an article from dmtquest.org and it's called The Wim Hof Method and DMT. So I have not read this whole thing yet, it's quite long. So I was thinking instead of me reading it first and trying to find the summarized points, let's just go through it with me. You'll like that? Press the like button. Uncle Ben gonna take you through story time. Alright. So this is very interesting because I already read the first two paragraphs and it already made me go, whoa. So get ready for some good epiphany. Okay. So there's been much speculation around this Wim Hof method, which is apparently producing DMT on the natch. So I'm not sure how, probably by sound, like that, the method of Terence McKenna and that to do hypercarbylation. You can see that on one page in Consciousness where I talk about that, which was basically them raising the frequency, the electron spin resonance frequency by humming, essentially. So I'm guessing this might be something similar, but I haven't read that far yet, so let's have a look. So it says, partaking in the breathing exercises. Oh, okay, so they're just doing breathing and meditation. That's all it says here, right? So it's reasonable hypothesis because there's no other endogenous hallucinogens currently identified other than DMT or 5-MeO-DMT and bufotenin. And remember, it's bufotenin too that is in the magic mushrooms as one of the four main compounds of the Psilocybe cubensis, right? The white gold top mushroom. So they're saying that's also been found and identified in the brain. The bufotenin, you see that up here? That's where I am. Okay. So because they've not identified anything else other than DMT, it must be DMT that's doing the hallucinations, which they said here are for up to 30 minutes. 30 minutes, see? Alright. So you can read as well, if you like, but might get a little confusing. You might want to listen first, and then the next time put this video on silent, and then you can read the whole article, or you could just go to the website. Right, anyway. Okay. It was found, the mammalian brain, to secrete DMT in 2013, a rat study published in some biomedical chromatography journal. The reason I say some is because, it's almost like the West or Occidental culture is like, or, let's call it more the American, UK, Australian type of culture, is trying to hide it. And suppress that DMT is produced naturally in your brain and in your lungs. Check it out. Wait for it, guys. It's in the same paragraph if you've read ahead. But yeah, lungs. So the reason I say this is because when I was at university doing my Bachelor of Business double IT majors, I had access to the journal articles. And one time I found a German journal article stating that they discovered or identified DMT in pretty sure a human brain. Don't quote me on that. I thought I remembered saving it in my brain as they found it in a human pineal. It may just have been a mammalian pineal. I can't remember. But the thing was that I'm pretty sure it was a human brain because it was a big find for me, and this was back before 2013, in fact. It was like 2010 or something. I can't even remember. So long ago, like 10 years ago, and I thought, well, there it is. It's in a German journal article. What's everyone going on about that, the peer-reviewed journal article monopoly out of America, basically, which is, if you understand, there's like a few universities that publish like 50% of all the peer-reviewed journal articles. So that ain't actually a, competition, is it? It's more like a monopoly where they can set things up and say what they want, almost. Anyway, I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but it's getting close to that. It's almost like that. And thus they can suppress things too. So anyway, that's why I acted like it was no big deal, because I read this in a German journal article long ago that they confirmed DMT in the brain, and now 10 years later it's coming out of all like these American institutions and so on. So anyway, in addition to secreting DMT, the pineal was also found to contain the enzyme necessary, INMT, to convert tryptamine to DMT. So indolphylamine N-methyltransferase converts tryptamine to DMT. So they've found that in the pineal as well. So then we know for sure. And actually the process is 5-HTP, then where does it go? Bufotenin? Then, no. It's 5-HTP, or no, it's bufotenin I think first. I can't remember now. Something like 5-HTP, bufotenin, serotonin, melatonin, then DMT. And that's how it converts up in the brain or in the pineal naturally. Melatonin, remember, is a sleep one. The sleep compound, right? You go to sleep and you have rapid eye movement, you get melatonin secreted, which is one under DMT. And now they're telling us that they've found the compound needed to convert tryptamines to DMT in the pineal as well. It's pretty obvious then. We can pretty much conclude at this point. I mean, it's still a priori conclusion, but come on, seems very obvious, right? And then look, that this enzyme, INMT, is also found throughout the lungs, the human lungs, which provided the foundation for the hypothesis that the lungs were a major source of DMT. Now this is massive because the person who passed me this article actually has been trying to convince me for the last 3 years or so that, DMT is in our lungs, DMT is in the air. And I was like, oh, come on, really? And even I was skeptical because it sounds pretty gnarly. Or DMT is just in the air and it's the biggest, baddest hallucinogen we know. It's the most strongest hallucinogen that we know. And it's just floating around in the air. I'm like, I don't know about that. But turns out that it's being produced in the lungs. So this person was right about that, and thanks for passing me the article. Amazing. Because I didn't research it, I just sort of went, oh, okay, maybe DMT is in the lungs. I just couldn't think how. But I didn't realize that that enzyme, INMT, is all throughout the lungs and turns tryptamines to DMT. So there we have it. That the lungs were a major source of DMT. That's the hypothesis they're actually putting forth now. Fantastic. We're moving. We're getting there. Hey? Okay, let's keep going. INMT was found throughout the cerebral cortex. Interesting. The choroid plexus. I do not know what that is. Let's have a quick look here. Choroid plexus. Right. So basically, it's a plexus. Cells that produce the cerebrospinal fluid. That's why I've called it clairsentient cerebrospinal fluid in videos before. Because you become clairsentient at that spin resonance level. It's like a fifth dimensional topological layer level when you go on these psychedelics. You know how you go out of body, you spread across many bodies, is the way you can say it. Cerebrospinal fluid in the ventricles of the brain. The choroid plexus consists of modified epidermal cells. Right, so that whole area there is called the crystal room by the Taoists. And that's where you project your light out through like a projector onto the septum pellucidum, which is like a screen which collects the vibration scintillations from the pineal, so your visions become what you see them behind your eyes in your third eye. That's the vibratory reconstruction of your pineal scintillations, which are high dimensional passing of code into your human brain onto the septum pellucidum, and creates an actual projector screen vision. Like when you're in the school class and the teacher has the projector screen, you turn off the lights in the room and you all watch on the white screen a projector movie. Exactly like that, and the septum pellucidum reconstructs the picture from the pineal scintillations upon it. So that's what they haven't added here. So DMT is produced throughout the brain. Look at this. This is all peer-reviewed journal article level stuff. Eat your heart out. Okay, let's see. It was also found that extracellular levels of DMT in the brain were comparable to serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine in live rats. So DMT is just there, like serotonin and dopamine, and norepinephrine. Are you reading this? This is awesome. Because this is what the organic portals don't have. They're shut down. The pineal is not scintillating in the soulless human, in these self-spiritless humans. They do not have vision, and hence they're not dirigible. They're not even capable of being steered and guided by the planet and the universe. Thus is why I've said it's the organic portal apocalypse. And that's why half the world's population is now walking themselves into self-destruction as the ego surface disconnected virus. Because they're not dirigible, they're not capable of being steered and guided. I bet their DMT levels are either non-existent or very low as well. We need to start doing studies on this, because there will be some sort of there will be some kind of physiological differences between the organic portal soulless self-spiritless human and the very spirited humans like myself. Guaranteed my pineal scintillates more and is not calcified. So people with calcified pineals, I'm already saying right now, they're organic portals. With the calcified pineal, because I brush my teeth with Colgate. You know what I mean? We all brush our teeth with pretty much the same toothpaste. Sometimes I'm using different toothpastes, but throughout my life, generally, growing up, I still used Colgate when I was 10, when I was 20, right? As did we all. We all used Colgate. So why are some people's pineals calcified? It's because they're not using it, they're not spinning it. Because I smoke a lot of weed or cannabis, a psychedelic, and I smoke this quite often. I'm constantly in vision and constantly moving the pineal. What do neuroscientists say? They say use it or lose it. Neurons that fire together, wire together. You see? It's the same thing with the pineal. It will calcify if you don't use it. And it barely matters. Of course it adds in and matters a little bit if you use Colgate and the fluoride, which calcifies the pineal. But obviously that's not the be-all, end-all. It's using it. That's the be-all, end-all, you see. Yeah, the real question is whether this Wim Hof method increases the level of DMT in the brain. So it's a certain type of breathing. That's him there. I didn't know he had 26 Guinness World Records. Oh, good on you, Wim Hof. That's what I need to be doing, going like that. That's where I think I need to go into, breaking some records and stuff like that. That's amazing. Okay, let's see. Also challenging being the blood levels are not entirely indicative of levels found in the brain. For example, the chemical oxytocin, known as the love hormone, exudes levels in the brain that are 100,000% greater than the amount found in the blood. So that's why it's hard to find DMT in the brain. You've basically got to kill a person and within like 6 seconds get inside the pineal. So it's pretty difficult. This makes it fairly difficult to extrapolate in-depth meaning from the blood alone. So they're just talking about how there's a challenge of like getting this all, perfectly in mathematics and percentages and getting it all very perfectly extrapolated. But from what we've already read, I'm concluding DMT is in the brain. I don't know about you. Let's see here. Talking about trying to record serotonin in the brain. Yep, nevertheless, based on the recent finding that the enzymes needed to produce DMT are found throughout the pineal gland, choroid plexus, and cerebral cortex, it seems realistic that DMT plays a key role in modulating everyday perception. I've said before that reality itself is psychedelic, and everybody who's not taking psychedelics is merely brainwashed. It's true, you're brainwashed by religion and society, your culture, what's right, what's not, your super loving government. You know, that government that loves you so much that they don't want you to take psychedelics and become more aware? Because they love you as a serving slave. That government, yeah, that one. So, yeah, this is very intriguing. Because now they have to ban you breathing. Now the government finds out that, from breathing alone, we can create the most powerful psychedelic known to man, just by breathing. Now they must stop us all breathing, going on their past logic, which now proves the government as ill or sick logic, illogical. Oh yeah, so that's another little point. The choroid plexus the choroid plexus involvement is especially intriguing, being that it is part of the brain, that this part of the brain is primarily responsible for producing cerebrospinal fluid. I have called it before clairsentient cerebrospinal fluid because, I do this, create DMT on the natch, even on the days I'm not smoking cannabis. I clear my meridians and I push energy through my body, and this pretty much does the process. That's all it is. You're pushing the higher dimensional energy through your body, the fifth dimensional light, you might say, and this gets all the systems going. Chi energy it's called life force energy. Chi energy is metabolistic movement energy, and it gets all of this going. DMT is clearly part of your metabolism. Okay, something about the breathing controls the circulation of CSF throughout the brain, the cerebrospinal fluid. Like I told you, that's what I was just saying. By pushing all this energy around my body, I start breathing differently, and then I control my own circulation of cerebrospinal fluid throughout my brain. And then I produce visions with the pineal. I get it moving and scintillating. The crystals do their thing and project a vision. I close my eyes and I see something behind them called a third eye vision. So you guys want more vision? Here you can do it on the natch just by meditating, just by breathing certain ways. I also feel that the neuroactive substances influencing my brain state, such as DMT, are indeed neuroactive, not unactive, but activating. This all goes with grounding, standing barefoot on earth, so that you get more chi flowing through you. life force energy. So, studies from 1955 to 2010 providing data that the sum of the highest reported levels of DMT were found in the CSF, or cerebrospinal fluid, when compared to urine, blood, and saliva. Makes complete sense because the cerebrospinal fluid pumps through your brain. And, the pineal is where all this, the visionary part of us is. Descartes, was it, called it the seat of the soul. Now, the pineal itself is a gland. It is not an energetic center called the third eye. It is not the third eye, but they act in unison. As I've been explaining, you push higher energy through the physical body. The physical body is what you're pushing into. So you use energy to move your physical physiology. I can't put it more clearly. And you can even create DMT doing this. So, while INMT, the enzyme necessary for DMT production, INMT is also responsible for producing 5-MeO-DMT. The God molecule, actually we call it the spirit molecule, which is why I've mentioned that spiritless humans will not be having the same amount of DMT in their fluids. They will not have visions and most likely have a calcified pineal gland, the organic portal people. It's why they act so dense and stupid as well. Yeah, well, not likely. It's very obvious to me that WHM, or this breathing method, up regulates not only DMT but 5-MeO-DMT and bufotenin as well. And I mentioned before the process of up-regulation, which is like 5-HTP to serotonin to bufotenin to melatonin to DMT. That's called up-regulation. That's what I was talking about. Oh, look at this. MAOIs, actually I've read this before, so the monoamine oxidase inhibitors, which we all know we take with ayahuasca vine. Say you go to the Amazon and you have an ayahuasca session with a shaman, or you do it here in Uruguay like I did. They mix two things. Remember, it's two plants they mix, and one of them is an MAO inhibitor. It's an MAOIS, and these also exist within the body. And that, remember, stops DMT getting broken down by the stomach acid when you take the ayahuasca. So we actually have MAO in our body as well. Now, the way that this all activates is consciously. That's what I'm saying. Like every day I push through my meridians higher energy. Otherwise you turn to stone. You turn to the physical concrete body. If you don't do this, if you do not clear your mucosa membrane daily, if you do not clear your meridians and chakras daily, if you don't ground daily, or it should be all the time, we should all be undulating into this state. Our ascending and descending is very, very slow. We should be going from second to second, because we're very slow, very low vibration beings at the moment. There are numerous other MAOs found within the body, such as triptolin, pinolen, harmon, and neurocatin. This essentially provides the basis of the term endo-ayahuasca. I like it. The endogenous biochemical analog of ayahuasca. That's right, you're doing it endogenously inside yourself. By comparison, the neuroplasticity is one of the main end results and benefits of ingesting psychedelic compounds. Neuroplasticity is one of the main end results and benefits of ingesting psychedelic compounds or obviously just this meditation technique. The Wim Hof method, hey? I'm going to have to learn it. Oh, look at this. The combination of breathing rounds, which vastly increase cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, circulation, which has recently been tied with cleansing the brain. And I was just saying that I do this naturally by myself on my own volition without even knowing that, because I feel it. When I talk about clearing my meridians with this higher energy, the higher fifth dimensional light and so on, this is what I'm talking about, a cleansing effect. My thoughts cleanse, my whole nervous system stops the crazy chatter, the monkey mind going, beta brain waves, all of it. Seems to optimize, induce positive neurological alterations. That's right. Oh, look at this. You can upregulate DMT without inducing a full-blown mystical experience. Yes, I feel that naturally. I will concur. It says here there was a Rick Strassman study, and he's the one that called it the spirit molecule, remember, if you've seen that documentary. So there was a study in 1990s by Rick Strassman, and they injected DMT, and there was 4 different levels there they show you, and with the 2 lowest levels being sub-psychedelic, meaning that there were no visionary experiences. So if you're worried about being at work and upregulating too hard, just don't push the energy through as hard. Okay, that's all it comes down to. That's interesting. Talking about the near-death experience and how serotonin increased by 2,000%, dopamine by 400%, GABA by 800. Wow. Measured DMT levels increasing 600% within 30 minutes following cardiac arrest. It's clear that if there is a biochemical correlate to the near-death experience, it is taking place in a flood of many chemicals, and DMT is going to be part of that. But what I've read before is that DMT actually burns off really quickly, you might say, or it disappears really quickly. That's why I had the earlier comment I made by you need to get at the pineal really quickly. LSD causes an increase of glutamate, an increase in serotonin. This is LSD now. They operate by inducing cascade effects of chemicals, yeah. Wow, okay, look at that. Interesting. Oh, look, we made it to the end of the article. Awesome. I thought it was a longer article and I was about to stop the video. So thanks a lot for this. Let's see if there's anyone to thank. Yeah, who's the author? DMT Quest is a non-profit. Right, so we have a non-profit DMT Quest. Nice. Which is the website, see? DMT Quest, trademark. Nice one, guys. This is awesome, and thanks for the article. Much appreciated. I think many people will enjoy this information. Please leave the like, because what happens is it's not just for my little dopamine hit that I'm loved by you all. Please leave the like for the reason of getting the video shown to other people. What happens is if you put more likes on the video, it will get recommended in to different relative videos more. So it'll hit the algorithm and viralize easier with more likes. So please press the like button. Okay, not for my sake, to get this information out to as many people as possible before the government tries to stop us breathing air.